I'm going to be giving you guys my list of the top 15 fantasy football rookies this year and what their impact is going to be. Are they being drafted too high or too low, and can they make an actual impact this year? If you enjoy this video, remember to hit that like button. Also, drop a subscribe if you haven't already, but the number one rookie this year has to be Bijan Robinson. As of today, he is the RB2 right behind CMC in fantasy right now, which is crazy for a rookie running back. I can't remember the last time that happened. For me, I have him ranked as my RB3 in general fantasy football, not just rookies. But honestly, I think I would pass on him in fantasy drafts this year, not because he's not talented and he won't be good in fantasy football, but because of the opportunity cost. If you're taking him that early, I would rather take a good solid wide receiver and then take another good running back in round 2. But we have to drop down a tier in our rookie rankings to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs at number 2. He is a running back that is going to be probably the most impactful amongst rookies in the receiving game. The Lions trusted him to take him with the 12th overall pick, and they have a pretty good offensive line for him to work around. He's going at an ADP of 39.6, and I think he's going to be a complementary back with David Montgomery. I don't think either one of them are going to be phased out for the other. I think it'll be a pretty tandem running back situation, kind of like how Zeke and Pollard were. I do think Gibbs will get the majority of the receiving work here though. But nonetheless, he is the clear number 2 rookie this year. At number 3, I have JSN, who was an amazing player at Ohio State and really managed to produce with multiple other NFL stars on that roster. And the reason I have him so high this year with the target competition of DK and Tyler Lockett is because he saw that in college. During his 2021 season, he played with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and still managed to produce. Why can't he do that in the NFL? He was arguably the best wide receiver in this year's rookie class, and I think he's a lock to be a good wide receiver 3. But at number 4, I have Jordan Addison, who dominated his freshman and sophomore year in college and went as a first-round pick. On top of that, he's playing in a very pass-heavy offense that has no Adam Thielen or Dalvin Cook anymore, which is going to open up the opportunities for him even more. At number 5, I have Quentin Johnston coming in as the wide receiver 3 for the LA Chargers, which is another pass-heavy offense. And if we're talking long-term, I would probably put him higher on my list, but this is strictly just for this year in fantasy. Wide receivers in this Chargers offense are kind of aging, so in the next coming years, you don't know where they're going to go or if they're going to retire, and that'll just give him more opportunities. But for now, he's staying at number 5. And at number 6, I'm taking the first quarterback off the board in Anthony Richardson. He's getting drafted at an ADP of 94.3, but he is instantly going to be thrown into a top 3 rushing yards and touchdown season. And it doesn't matter if he has a bad season in real life, because he's going to be an ultra effective runner, and he's just going to run the ball every chance he gets, kind of like a Justin Fields early in his career. But he doesn't have to be good in real life to be elite in fantasy. Dropping down another tier, I'm taking Zach Charbonnet at an ADP of 102.9, who I think can take a lot more volume from this backfield than some people are expecting. I really do think that the Seahawks are going to run a 1A and 1B system here with Kenneth Walker, but it looks like the game plan for the Seahawks and Geno Smith is to pass the ball a lot this season. They have a whole lot of talent at the wide receiver position, and they really are just going to let him do his thing. And that is going to benefit Charbonnet because he was a dominant pass catcher in college. At number 8, I'm taking Zay Flowers, who's getting drafted at an ADP of 88.8, so a lot of 8s there. But I do think he has the chance to dominate other rookies in these rankings. I do think Odell can open up this offense for him, but at the same time, Rashad Bateman might not come back fully healthy from his injury. Odell might go down with an injury. These are 2 guys that haven't seen a whole lot of field time recently, and if any of those things were to happen, he would just be instantly skyrocketing up draft boards, and everyone would want to trade for him. With that being said, though, the Ravens will still run a fairly run-heavy offense here. Just because they have some good receivers now doesn't mean they're going to completely switch up their framework as an organization, which is why he's still at number 8 for me, but he has a good opportunity here. But I wouldn't go too crazy with it. At number 9, I'm liking Devon Achane at an ADP of 112.6. He finished his season with the Aggies with the 2nd highest positive run percentage in college ball, which pretty much means he can get through tackles. He is in a decent situation in Miami, assuming that Dalvin Cook won't get traded to the team, but all he has to do is beat out an old, injury-prone Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. At number 10, give me Rashee Rice, a wide receiver now going to the Kansas City Chiefs. And any wide receiver that's getting passes by Patrick Mahomes is just gotta automatically be a couple spots higher on the list. He's going at an ADP of 132.2, and he really has the opportunity to thrive in this offense. He could be the wide receiver 2 or maybe even the wide receiver 1 if you're crazy enough to say that, because the wide receiver room in KC is really up in the air right now. At number 11, I have Jonathan Mingo, who I think is maybe a little bit too hyped up. He stayed all 4 years at Ole Miss, and he did have another player on his team that outdid him in production, but he does have a decent situation in Carolina with not too much target competition competition. At number 12, I have Dalton Kincaid, who again, a lot of people have been hyping up, but I haven't really been following that. A lot of people are valuing him at his ceiling, and he's going at an ADP of 123.9. Some people are even going as far to say he's going to be the tight end 1 for Josh Allen this year. But we do have to slow our roll. Historically, tight ends in their first year do not produce whatsoever to be fantasy relevant. But at 13, I'm looking at Kendre Miller. As of right now, this running back situation is very volatile in the New Orleans Saints. Depending on the news of Alvin Kamara, he could be shooting up draft boards. He's being drafted at an ADP of 133.9 right now. Expect that to change if any Alvin Kamara news comes out. At 14, I'm taking Roschon Johnson at an ADP of 144.4. I've been a bit lower on Khalil Herbert to lead this backfield recently, and it seems like a lot of people are agreeing with that. Because Roschon Johnson is only going 1 round behind Khalil Herbert at the moment. I think there's a 30% chance that he can take the work role in this backfield, but again, this isn't a very sought after backfield because you're going to have Justin Fields taking runs like it's nothing, and a lot of the rushing work and touchdowns are going to be vultured by him. But at number 15, I'm liking Tank Bigsby at an ADP of 144.6, running behind Travis Etienne in Jacksonville. He'll probably see about 25 to 30% of the snaps, and I think he's a great handcuff behind Travis Etienne. That is going to finish my list of the top 15 fantasy football running backs for this year. If you got any value from this information, please go ahead and hit that like button so you don't forget this video later, and I'll see you guys in the next one.